Hello students, this is Dr. Henry and I'm your instructor for OAD 125. This is our week 4 quick tips video. So I'm going to quickly go to the weekly assignment list. And for week 4, you are on Word Module 3, so you have to do a training tutorial and a project. But also this week will be our first quiz. And our first quiz is going to be on modules 1, 2, and 3, which is what we've covered so far in the semester. I wanted to let you know the best way to study for a quiz is to redo or review the training tutorials for each of the modules that will be covered. So for example, we've covered Word Module 1, Word Module 2, and Word Module 3. So I have the Word Module 3 training tutorials pulled up as an example. So you would go to the task list. Now, what I recommend is that students redo all of them. So even if you've already done them all for Word Modules 1 and 2 and 3 and you have your green check mark, if you go back to them to review them, it will not mess up your grade. It will not change your grade at all. But you need to revisit the training tutorials in order to help you prepare for the exam. So, for example, all of the tasks in each training tutorial are possibly being pulled from in order to create questions for your quizzes. So the system is going to pull questions and you don't know which ones. Now, the quiz only has 15 questions, so there will be 5 questions from Module 1, 5 from Module 2, and 5 from Module 3 to have a total of 15 questions, but you don't know which ones will be asked. So it's best that you make sure that you know how to do each of these, and you need to make sure you know how to do it the way that the training tutorial showed you. So just as a quick tip, the apply step is how your exam or your quizzes and exams will look. So it'll have a simulated word outline just like this. It's formatted exactly like the apply step. Now you can move the instructions around. If you can't see something, you need to read something, you can move that around. But if you remember from the training tutorials in the apply step, it doesn't tell you what to do. I mean, it doesn't tell you how to do the step, it tells you what to do. So it'll say, like in this one, for example, in the space between the in the news heading, do this. Okay. And you have to know how to do this. And sometimes it's something you have to do prior to being able to do this. So, for example, you might have to move your insertion point in the area where it needs to be in order to perform that task. But the instructions are not going to tell you that the way the observe and practice step do. So, we want to make sure that you know how to do each task the way that it's shown in the training tutorial. If you've been using Word for a long time and you know other ways to do something, that's fine when you're working on the projects. But when it comes time for a quiz or an exam, you have to do it the way that it showed you in the training tutorial because the system can't test you on every possible way. It can only test you on the way that it showed you in the system. So, what I recommend is that students redo all the training tutorials to make sure they know how to do them before they take the quiz. Some students don't always want to redo them all again, but I would say it would be worth it. If you don't want to redo them all, then make sure you go to the menu, like I have here, and read each one. And if it's one that you know you don't remember how to do, then review those, just the ones you don't remember how to do. All right, so that's the quick tips for the quiz. The quick tip for this week's project, Word Module 3 project, you're going to do a business letter and it has an embedded table and some other elements, and it's a multi-page business letter actually. So one of the things that I wanted to just call your attention to is when you have to do a color correction. So, for example, in step 5, you're going to do a color correction to a picture. I don't have the start file open, but anytime you do this, you have to first select the picture or you won't even see the tab for these options. So, for example, if this was a picture, I don't think it's in the here, I think this is a picture. Okay, so I have clicked on this and I'm gonna minimize my screen so you can kind of see, although it minimized it a little too much. Okay, so before I clicked on this, the only tabs you see are here, and none of them have where I can do a color correction. However, if a step tells you to do something, you have to have the tab to be able to do it. So I have to first click the picture, which this is in the instruction file, which is just an example, but this is a picture of what it's telling you to do. But for the sake of this example, I clicked on this picture, and now I have a new tab that wasn't there before. This is the picture tools tab. So now when I go here, I have all these different options to be able to do what it's telling me to do. And one of those is to make a color correction. And remember, anytime you rest your mouse on something, it should tell you more information. So that's the quick tip for this week. As always, if you have other questions, concerns, or comments, you can always reach me via my email. Thanks for watching. Bye.